if you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm Judge R.H. Wallace Jr. of the 96th Civil District Court in Tarrant County. I've been the judge of that court since December of 2010 when I was appointed by Governor Perry to fill a vacancy after the previous judge, Jeff Walker, retired. Prior to that time, I began my college education. I graduated from the United States Naval Academy. After that, of course, I served in the Navy for a period of time. My first tour of duty was on a Navy destroyer off the shores of Vietnam during the Vietnam era, supporting ground troops. After I finished my service commitment, I went to Baylor Law School. After I graduated from Baylor, I then spent about the next 10 years of my life with the Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Fort Worth prosecuting federal criminal offenses. I tried dozens of federal criminal cases of all kinds. After some period of that, I joined a law firm here in Fort Worth and spent about the next 25 years of my life trying all kinds of civil cases before being appointed to the bench. I've done complex litigation. I've represented Mrs. Bear's Bakery, Sunbeam, DFW Airport. I've defended companies in class action lawsuits. But more importantly, since I've been on the bench of the 96th District Court, I've tried almost 100 civil cases of all types and natures, not to mention countless hearings, discovery disputes, and things of that nature. My conservative roots go deep from my time at the Naval Academy, my military service, my education at Baylor, and my years as a federal prosecutor, and they're still deep. My experience and qualifications, as I've said, I've tried as many cases from the bench as almost any of these candidates have tried. I'm not disparaging their qualifications, but I've tried them from the bench when they're talking about trying them from the trial lawyer standpoint. I don't think my opponent can come anywhere near to matching those qualifications. My wife and I are Christian conservatives. I'm pro-life, and I don't just say that, we live that life, because I have 4 children. 2 of them are adopted and were taken home from the hospital by me when they were infants. I wake up every day thanking God that a young teenage mother saw fit to give them life, because I know the joy that can bring. I know what life means. With that, I can tell you I have many endorsements. I'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but one of the ones I'm most proud of is because of his conservative values is my fellow Naval Academy graduate, Roger Staubach.
All right, Judge. Well, I've got some questions for you, as I told you, and there's no right or wrong answers. These are just questions to allow our members at ARC to have a feeling for who you are as a citizen of Texas, citizen of the United States, as a Republican, and just as a person. So my first question is going to be, do you believe our legislative elected officials should vote according to their conscience or the will of the constituents?
Well, it would appear to me that they should vote according to the will of their constituents who elected them to that office. Hopefully that would be the same as their conscience in most instances, but I've been going around to a lot of these meetings and listening to these folks, and it sounds to me like they ought to, they're saying they're going to follow the will of the constituents, and I would expect that that's what they would do if that's what they say they're going to do.
Okay, all right. So, Judge, my next question is, which part of the U.S. Constitution is being undermined the most, and why?
Well, it's a hard. On the one hand, I'm inclined to say the First Amendment, because of some of the federal legislation and what people refer to as the politically correct police is being undermined, and also there are certainly efforts at undermining the Second Amendment, right to bear arms, although I'm not sure that those are being very successful at this point. And not to mention also the 10th Amendment, which reserves powers to the states, and that is a constant barrage that people are trying to battle against and keep those rights and powers in the state that belongs with the state and local government.
All right. So, Judge, my next question is, which is, to you, what is the most important part of the Texas Constitution?
The right to jury trial. That'd be simply it, the right to a jury trial, and because to me, in my job and what I do every day, that's an invaluable right. Very few countries or states require in a civil case, require a jury trial. And to me, that's, if I had to pick one from my standpoint, that's what it would be.
Okay, great. So you're saying in other states you don't have the right to a jury trial in a civil case?
Well, I don't know about all states. I know that a lot of countries don't, and for sure. They do in criminal cases. Right. I'm talking about civil cases.
All right. So my next question is, what is the most significant barrier you have seen for litigants to receive justice in courts?
Well, it's not getting to trial in the civil district court, because if people want to get to trial, they can get to trial in civil district courts in Tarrant County. We're not that backlogged. Judges will get them to trial. I think the biggest barrier that we're seeing these days is probably the expense of litigation, especially complex commercial disputes are so expensive to try. And I think it's incumbent upon judges to help not let these pretrial motions take on a life of their own, but that we ought to try to assist and insist that the parties do what they need to do to get their case tried, but not overwork it and not charge their clients an arm and a leg. I think that's probably the biggest impediment, because we talk about how their jury trials are decreasing. Everybody seems to agree that it's because of the cost of litigation. And that, so a lot of even we're not talking about just lower income people, we're talking about medium income people and small businesses can't afford litigation.
Sure. Okay. Now, Judge, my last question is going to be, if you were a benevolent dictator for a day, all right, which law would you change and why?
Of course, I am a benevolent dictator on some days. Which law would I change and why? I'm sorry, but I'm thinking, and I can't. I'm not trying to just think of a politically correct answer.
Sure.
I can't really think of any. I'd probably get rid of those red light cameras like they do in Arlington, but I'm so focused on applying the law, I really don't think about changing the law that much, and I really don't have an answer. I'm sorry for that.
No, not a problem. Not a problem at all.
If I think of something, can I come back?
Absolutely. All right, Judge, do you have anything in closing you want to say to the members of the Arlington Club?
Yes, I want to say this. One of the things I'm most proud of is I was the winner in the Tarrant County straw poll with over 60% of the vote. I've been endorsed by the Tarrant Republican Club PAC. I've been endorsed by Northeast Tarrant County Tea Party President Julie McCarty. And I'm endorsed by leaders, I mentioned Roger Staubach, but in addition, Congressman Roger Williams, State Representative Charlie Guerin, County Judge Glenn Whitley, District Clerk Tom Wilder, Tax Assessor Collector Ron Wright, Commissioner J.D. Johnson, Mayor Betsy Price, Mayor David Cook, Mayor Laura Hill, and others. Those are some of the local leaders that I'm most proud of, in addition to many lawyers, including D. Kelly Jr., Neil Adams, and other people that I'm very proud to be endorsed by. Other than that, I think just I love this job. I have been rated very highly by the lawyers in Tarrant County for the job that I'm doing. I received an excellent to good rating by over 92% of the lawyers of Tarrant County, and I would like an opportunity to continue providing that kind of service to the citizens of Tarrant County.